to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight to the Board of School Trustees for Brown County School Corporation. I'd like to call it to order. First thing on the agenda is we're going to convene the Board of Finance. We'll start with election of officers. Can I get a nomination for president?
I nominate Doug. Second.
All right, so I guess we need to vote on that, correct? Any discussion? Like to vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now I need a nominee for secretary.
I nominate Vicky Harden. Second.
Any discussion? Vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carries. And that brings us to our DUAB.
Yeah, so, per Indiana legislation, right, it says that the school board will be updated, by our fiscal indicators at the first January meeting of each year. Usually I'm not the one that does this presentation, but Megan is ill and could not be here tonight, so, I'm gonna take a stab at the presentation for you. We usually go by, we call it DUAB. DUAB is just the Distress Unit Appeal Board. They are the ones that work with DLGF with all of the fiscal indicators and really tells the organization where they are standing. So these are the indicators we really go by. Our financial advisors go by these indicators to determine our financial health. So I have given each of you just a PDF of everything that I've got up here, but I want to be able to show you up here. Anybody in the audience can see as well. It's a public website. Anybody can go to this. You can see that you can look up any school district and find the same fiscal indicators for that specific school district. And we start with just basic information, which tells us our 24-25. Oh, hold on, let me get the right school. There we go. This was 24-25, the fall count at 1463. Our 2025 net AV is 2.1, and this is estimated population that's in the county. We come back to this dashboard, we take a little bit closer look at the trends in enrollment, and you can see just by looking at the graph, right, that there is a downward trend. Very few of these, like this, the blue is fall in person, obviously green is our spring count number. On each one of these, you can barely see the spring virtual. So you can kind of see like 2022-23, we had 11 kids virtual. 23-24, it went down to 5. Last spring we had 3, so it just kind of fluctuates.
I didn't know we had any, so that was
on some need there, so
gotcha.
that is the current enrollment.
Barely see it right there.
Yeah.
And this year the count is down. You don't know.
I don't wanna say something wrong, I don't have it on the top of my
Okay.
head.
Okay.
It's consistent with prior years.
Okay.
Take a look at fund balances. In the chart that's on here, there are a lot of funds. I like to go in here and uncheck all of these because really the funds that matter to us the most are education, our operating referendum, our operational funds, our rainy day, and then it's always important because we are self-insured to look at the self-insurance fund. So that takes away a few of the bars and does a little bit cleaner of a look, but you can see, for 2024 reporting year, fund balance was at 5 million for operations. Education was at 4.3. Referendum was only at 371.5, but remember our referendum ended, and that was what was left over from the prior referendum, and then 2024 we did not get any new revenue for the operating referendum. Rainy day has not changed. Again, typically it would take board action to spend any money out of rainy day or to put money into rainy day. So that's very rarely touched. And then at the end of 2024, our self-insurance balance was at 805.
805?
What?
805?
1,000?
1,000.
Yes. Which has decreased a little bit. I mean, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but I think right now we're a couple $100,000 less than that balance right now for that self-insurance fund. So it's really important, right? Like you've got to be able to keep those reserves to be able to pay claims. You never know when a high claim is going to come up, right? So you have to have a healthy reserve. We have had a very healthy reserve for many years, which has prompted us not to have to raise insurance rates until last year. So when you see those reserves get down to where they're at, that's you got to start protecting it.
And what was the rate of increase? Do you remember?
I would have to ask Megan
Okay.
that specifically. We made.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I was just trying
No,
to
that's okay.
get it in my head.
We made some specific changes to insurance though, right? To our plans and 80%, 20% on some of the plans. So we made quite a few changes last year to the insurance rates.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is our annual deficit against the surplus. The right green is revenue coming in, blue are the expenditures going out. So you're either gonna have a deficit or you're gonna have a surplus of spending for the year. The deficit here, right, just for 2024 is about $900,000, right? So that means we spent $900,000 more than the revenue that came in. What's really important for you to remember is that these are not everyday spending dollars that are averaged into our budgets, right? So these could be one-time expenditures, this could be any capital projects that we did, this could be donations or grant funding. All of that has to be reported. But when you put all the money in and then you see what you spent out, it doesn't account for what's grant funded or what's this or what's that. So it's really important to know that. The next one is our fund balances as a percent of our expenditures. So really this is our cash balance percentage up against the expenditures, bless you. So if you think about it, like, well, 2024 it's at 64.2. DUAB, or really they recommend to be able to have 2 to 3 months money in reserve to be able to pay, which is anywhere from 17 to 25% of a fund balance against your expenditures, and we're at 64.2. So when we have said we've got high cash balances across the board, that's what this is referenced to. If you think about it this way, if no new revenue was coming in, right? We have enough cash balance right now to pay up to 64% of any of our expenditures right now. Which is, you would think 3 to 5 months is probably 25 to 40%, so this is a good graph. This is a really good graph for us. But it also, like, if you think about the chart before and the deficit surplus, like, we do have a cash balance. So say if there was something that was needed, let's say it's a new gym floor, that would be a one-time large expense that if we have the money in the cash balance, that we could use that to fund that instead of doing a debt service project for it. We could do that because we have the cash balance. But you also have to know you're expending more than the revenue that's coming in because we have the cash balance
For that year, right.
for that year.
Is this the same as rainy day fund? Or is that?
This is all of our funds put together.
All
That's
of
also really important to know.
Yeah.
It's every fund that we have, so
Okay.
it's all of it. And you know that we can't spend anything from any fund.
Right.
So, it is.
I just wondered if it was another
percent,
different words for rainy day fund, because that's kind of what it sounds like, is that there's this money that can be tapped into if necessary.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You can see over the years past too, right? Like,
Keeps growing.
yeah, and that's really due to a few different things, right? Like, the district has worked really hard, even before I arrived, to save money, reserve money, save in any way possible, to be able to build up those cash balances. But you also have to think our AV has gone up every single year quite a bit, and when our AV goes up, we get more revenue in from those funds. So
But also the cost of things go up too.
also the cost of things go up, you're absolutely right.
You want to say what AV is?
Assessed value of the
Right.
county.
For folks who don't know, yeah.
This chart is really just the different types of revenue that come in. You can see where we have the most. This is, the blue is from state, so that's funding that comes in from ADM or our enrollment. Local tax revenue, you can see the blue is the operating referendum. The green is anything from our debt service that we have there. You can see at the top in that gold is federal revenue. So federal revenue would be, those would be grant dollars for special education, those types of programs. You see at the very top, there's federal stimulus revenue. Most of that federal stimulus revenue is pandemic relief dollars. We don't receive much federal stimulus money anymore, so. And then operating referendum revenue, this is pretty self-explanatory. You see the sharp decline from 23 to 24 because we had to go a year without any referendum funding. When 2025 picks up, you'll see that it goes right back up.
I mean, so the message there is that even though we were a whole year, or a year and a half, is it? A year without any referendum funding, that, we were still able to maintain everything that year, right? We were worried about the future years.
Yeah, because we had built up such a good cash balance, yeah.
I had a question about the one on the one before this, the colored graph, and it says other local revenue that isn't property taxes. I guess I don't know what that would be. It's a very skinny line, but.
That'd be donations.
Yeah,
Okay.
or it could even be like fees, right? Technically, that's revenue that comes in. Now,
Okay.
I think about early ed, right? Like, you have revenue that comes in because of fees, but those go right back out to,
Okay,
What about grants? Do grants be in that?
it just depends. It's either, some grants are state grants and some are federal. Some are completely one-off grants, so it just kind of depends on the context, of that funding, but it could be.
and the one that says debt revenue, how do we get revenue from debt? I just don't know what that means.
It's property tax, it's part of the property taxes, right? So
Uh-huh.
when, for example, when we did this project, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
But that's different than the regular property taxes, or no?
it's a part of our school
Okay.
tax rate.
I've just never, I don't think I've seen it.
I think
Broken
ours
out.
is, 14, it's at 14%, I think our debt service rate is right now. That 14 is part of the 57 that makes up our total school tax rate.
Okay, gotcha.
The only other thing is to be able to review the summary of our investments. The board policy, I think, is policy 6144, that just outlines what the board allows us to do with investments. We have two. We have the investments with our P&C accounts, which have all of our banking accounts. And Megan would really be able to articulate this better than me, but it's like they call it a sweeps account. So once your account comes up to a threshold, right, they sweep it into this other account, and that is there to be able to collect interest, kind of like an investment. And then if anything were to happen to our current big account that holds all of the accounts, you have this piece over here that's not really connected to that, so you could access it. The balance of the interest that we collect off that this year is $209,069. In 2024, just to give you something to reference, it was just about 355,000. So you can see what we collected in interest. And then the other big one is our investment with Trust Indiana. Give you a little bit of background. Brown County Schools started that in 2015, and that account was started at $2.5 million. The balance as of December 31st this year is $4.9 million. This year interest was $203,054. Last year's interest was about $240,000. So we've received less in interest this year than we did last year. And then those dollars, those interest dollars from the Trust Indiana, those get added to our education fund monthly.
So it's allowed to be used for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, some of the questions I have is like, can that 4.9 million, can we take some of that money and put that into rainy day? I don't know that anybody's asked that question. I don't know if it's smart to put it in rainy day, but right, if we wanted or needed to be able to do that, could we? Or if we needed to pull that money for some sort of cash emergency on something, right, comes up, what is the process to be able to withdraw that money? What can you use it for? What can you not use it for? So those are the questions I've got out to help answer.
Okay. And questions are out to legal? Is that?
Both.
Okay. So the policy, is this a new policy, or this is,
No,
you just included it so we can see it?
yes.
Okay. And this just says where we are allowed to put investment income?
Yeah.
That's safe, okay.
Okay, I guess we need to adjourn the meeting, Board of Finance meeting, can I get a motion
We
to?
need to approve the policies, or they're not?
No, we don't have to approve the policy. You've done that at a prior date. It's not a new policy, it's not a revised policy. It's currently board approved sitting in Neola. So you don't have to approve anything tonight, other than the president and the secretary of the Board of Finance, and you already did that, so. Unless anybody else has any other questions, I'm okay with adjourning.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to, the regular agenda items. I'd like to call that meeting to order. Modifications to the agenda, board committee representatives, you want to do that or?
Yeah, we just have two modifications, is to be able to add the Brown County Quality of Life Committee, Representative Amy Oliver, and then to add Legislative Liaison Representative Amy Oliver.
Thank you, Amy. Frank?
That's just accepting the modifications to the agenda.
Oh, can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carries. That brings us to, recognition of visitors and comments from the audience. Anybody? There is no presentation tonight. There is no discussion item tonight. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of December 18th, 2025?
Move to approve minutes from December 18th.
A second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carried. That brings us to action needed items, and this is the reorganization of the board. Can I get a nominee for president?
I nominate Janice Bobrink for president.
Second? Do we do another?
Who did the second? Did anybody do the second?
No, I don't think we have a
I'll second that.
Who was the first?
Janice. Any discussion? Vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carries. Can I get a nomination for vice president?
I nominate Amy Oliver for vice president.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
Motion carries. Can I get a nomination for secretary?
I nominate Miss Vicky.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
So you can do this?
Yeah, I'll read through the rest, because they're already named. We have the corporation treasurer, Megan Smith, deputy treasurer, Jill Ray, Christy Pruitt, corporation attorney, Liz Kappas, recording secretary, Julie Bernard. If you wanna go ahead and vote on those first.
As a group?
Yeah, you can take over officially if you're ready.
Is there a motion to approve the positions as Emily just read?
Absolutely.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Any
Oh.
discussion?
Oh, any discussion?
These are the same, there are no changes here, so.
Gotta hear the routine.
Mm-hmm.
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yep.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
I have the recommendation to approve the meeting date, time, and place. Currently, executive session if needed at 5 PM and a regular session at 6 PM, the first and third Monday of the month unless noted otherwise.
Is there a motion to approve the meeting date, time, and place?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Janice.
Yes.
I have board compensation to be $2,000 per year, $112 per meeting, and $62 per special session.
Is there motion to approve the board compensation.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes.
The recording secretary compensation for $112 per board meeting and $62 per special session.
Is there a motion to accept the recording secretary compensation of $112 per meeting and $62 per special session?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion?
Who is the recording secretary?
Julie?
Okay,
We
just
just
double
approved
check.
it.
I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes.
I have the recommendation to approve the bid opening committee, appoint the following as the Brown County Schools bid opening committee as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the bid opening committee as presented?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes.
And then the recommendation to approve the board committee representatives as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the board committee representatives as presented?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes. We have a recommendation to approve a donation from Fruitdale Fire Department in the amount of $300 to Helmsburg Elementary.
So moved.
I'll
Second. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes. Is there a recommendation, we have a recommendation to approve a donation through the Brown County Community Foundation for $75,000 for early education expansion project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
Thank you.
I'd have been grateful.
That's
Yes.
from, anonymous donor.
That's wonderful. Is that new money or is that like part of an existing grant or
New money.
new money? Awesome.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes. We have a recommendation to approve a donation from St. David's Episcopal Church in the amount of $500 to go towards down on lunch debt at Helmsburg. Do we have a motion approved?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Just incredibly grateful,
Yes.
I guess.
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes. We also have a recommendation for donation, approve a donation from Fruitdale Fire Department in the amount of $300 to Spernicate Elementary. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
I actually like seeing these. I know we have to do them, but I really like seeing the cooperation between the fire department and the elementaries and, you know, the churches and the elementaries working together. I think that's really, great. So we're really thankful for that.
Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes. We have a recommendation to approve donation from McDonald's for $250 to the Brown County Schools, Middle School, and High School Athletic Department. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Again, thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Shanice.
Yes. We also have a recommendation to approve a donation from Brown County Shop with a Cop in the amount of $2,500 to the Brown County High School class of 2026 for their senior trip. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
That's fabulous. That's a great one.
Roll
And
call.
it's a really great event. Like, a lot of people came out for it, and, aside from an injury, went
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Denise.
Yes. Recommendation to approve donation from Jane Huffman of $500 to the Brown County High School Band Department and $500 to the Brown County High School Theater Department. Motion to approve?
Second. Or first, whichever one.
Second.
I can't
I'll
hear, I
second.
gotta jump in, you know?
Discussion?
I really
Thank you.
appreciate this.
Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Amy.
I abstain.
We have a recommendation to approve an amendment to the energy savings contract with Performance Services to include early learning center upgrades. The renovation will be funded through the following sources: $500,000 from the Early Learning Indiana's Early Years Initiative Round 2 grant, $250,000 from the Indiana Economic Development Ready 2.0 grant, and $75,000 donated from the Brown County Community Foundation. Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Is there a motion to approve?
Oh, I thought you said, I do.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, excited for this to be on the agenda tonight and for them to get started if approved. Debbie Harmon has been working relentlessly on this to be able to provide the infant room and do the reconfiguration of the early learning center for this to happen, and get approved and certified and all of the things that come with it. So, yeah, it says that it is an amendment to the energy savings contract, so it's also important for the board to know that we did not have to take this out to a separate company to bid out the work because it is part of our guaranteed energy savings contract that we have with Performance Services. They have worked alongside us at the ESC for a really, really long time. I don't know what it dates back to, but so anytime you have a project that benefits the energy savings, the board approves an amendment to that energy savings contract to be able to do that work. So that's why it reads the way that it reads.
And will
Total
this-
cost of the project will be $125,000, again, funded through those three revenue streams right there.
So that's the entire amount then? That's, oh, okay. And so we'll then have preschool,
A preschool room,
2 preschool or 1 preschool?
one preschool
One
room,
preschool.
and two toddler rooms, but different ages,
Okay,
and then an infant room.
great. I'm so
And
very excited.
space for parent development too, parent.
What are your toddler age rooms?
Starting from, well, the kids can be only a certain number of months apart, so it'll probably be like 12 months to then 22 months, and then it's 22 to 36 months. So
That's the one with.
we will basically cover birth to 5 within the facility, so there'll be a place for every age.
That is
Awesome.
Have those of us who have had kids in Brown County would appreciate that when there was no infant care at all and
You sure
very
would.
little preschool and toddlers. So thank you, Debbie, for your many years of working this. This has taken a long time. So
Yeah, there are some HVAC needs that will not be addressed in this first phase of this. So just know it's a next
It's out there.
phase project, is the HVAC needs to be addressed in that end of the building.
I was gonna say it's not the whole building, just the early learning center part.
There's more grant money available, which I'll write for in April,
In the next year,
to be able to do the HVAC.
Yeah. Great.
We'll get it.
Well, congratulations. This is exciting.
Thank you.
Roll call vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Denise.
Yes. We have a recommendation to approve the first reading of the following NEOLA board policies, starting with PO 2410, the revised policy, audio, video, and digital recording meetings, through policy PO 4362, rescind policy and anti-harassment. Can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
This is a first reading.
First read, so we'll do it again at the next meeting.
Does does anybody have any questions or feedback on any of those policies to consider before the second reading?
Seeing none, roll call vote.
Doug,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Denise.
Yes. Moving on to the consent agenda items, none. Personnel, none. Separations, none. Appointments, none. Transfers, none. Superintendent report.
Yeah, first time we've not had personnel on.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a few things. First of all, our kids come back tomorrow, so super excited to welcome them back. Staff came in today for our half-day workday. I haven't been able to talk to the principals to get any feedback. We have not had this day in years past, at least since I've been here. Kids have come back on the day that everybody comes back, so just be anxious to hear from staff what their feedback of the day was for them, since it's something new. So excited for kids to come back tomorrow. I think another really important announcement that came out today is that our homecoming game that was scheduled for Friday has now been rescheduled for Thursday. So people can enjoy the IU game on Friday and not feel conflicted between two awesome events. So
But what if you're a Purdue fan?
We still root for IU.
I think you're an IU fan Friday night.
I'm a Boilermaker, but I'm cheer on that.
I'm thinking that boat is sailed.
it's okay. It's okay. I want to express a very sincere gratitude to our basketball boys and girls coaches over the break. There were several tournaments or several games, and Mr. Bolds, the athletic director, had received several different recognitions from IHSAA, specifically calling out our coaches and our kids and the team as a whole for excellent sportsmanship. And it's like we got a whole handful of them within like 24 or 48 hours. And
That's special.
every once in a while you'll get one, like it comes out of the blue, but I have not witnessed in a school district where I've gotten so many in a short
I
amount
saw
of time.
that on the
That's awesome.
Yeah,
site.
so that's always a really proud moment for kids and for our whole coaching staff, so I want to congratulate them.
Go Eagles, live.
Yeah.
Live.
I also, at some point, would love to have you go down to see the weight room. They finally have finished the floor, and there's some branding that's gone in there. It looks completely different. That weight room floor has been an ongoing project for years, and it's finally come to fruition. And Mr. Bruner was able to get quite a bit of new equipment that was donated with our branding on it. So it looks really, really nice. So if you get an opportunity or want any one of us to take you down to the weight room, we'd love to be able to show that off to you. And then finally, I thought this could be a really cool opportunity to show you some renderings of the high school restrooms. As you know, that was a part of the bond project that was in conjunction with Van Buren. Part of the high school projects were in it, and so this is a little bit more exciting than HVAC in the gym. So Sarah and I wanted to show you what the bathrooms will end up looking like. These are the bathrooms that are in the commons, and then also the restrooms that are in the 100 hallway. And you have, oh no, here, I was gonna say, I have a copy for you that you can have. These are just a list of the materials. I'm not gonna read through any of those, but here's the picture. It looks massively different than it did 2 weeks ago.
We should have before and after pictures.
Yeah, we have some before pictures, I promise. But you can see like this wood back here is tile. It's all modern features, a very nice clean look. It is ADA accessible. The height of the sink and everything was accounted for. You can't tell that in this picture, but it is. So that's the big picture. This is walking into the restroom, it almost looks unrecognizable, right? We really wanted to address the tile. You see the orangish tile there that's leading into the restroom, but that's the tile that's across the entire commons. We know a future project would be to build a connector, right? And the connector is probably gonna feed into the commons somehow. The common space is a large space, and it has a lot of opportunity to reimagine that for kids. And so we know that's gonna happen somewhere down the future, and we'll address that tile when that project gets addressed, but
Nice. Very cool.
yeah, it looks really nice. And then this is the 100 hallway. You can see Mr. McFall saying hi to everybody right here. It's not really.
It is.
It looks like
It's
it's
a
door. You can see this wall here. They're doing kind of the same concept we did at the middle school to be able to have that same tile go all the way up to from floor to ceiling and have the water fountains. They did have to make adjustments to this restroom for several different reasons.
The entryway was a big sticking point to be able to move, because if you notice, if you're ever in that 100 hallway, you can't see in anywhere for the boys' bathroom. It's a direct, like you walk into a wall and direct, right? Versus the girls' bathroom has a different entry point, so they tried to match them so that they were the same entry.
So they're which doors are they? Are they the blue door on the left, or they the brown doors? No, those are classrooms.
Yep, brown where Emily's.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
And there's a maintenance, there's a custodial closet in between.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why
That's why
three.
you're seeing
That's a
three.
extra door.
That's what I wondered. I was like, that doesn't count.
The girls' bathroom is on the end.
And the inside, those fixtures and everything will match the commons, so.
And is that more stalls, or is it the same number of
They're the same number of stalls, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
I don't think
Three,
we made
yeah.
changes to the number.
Okay.
So it looks like they made 2 handicap accessible in the girls and 1 in the boys. Look at the bars, I can see the bars. I hope they remember how to place the toilet paper.
We've already spoken
I
about
feel
it.
like
I
Ms.
assure
Melanie
you.
talked about it, yes.
You already?
You gotta bring Carol in to
Yeah.
consult on the group.
Yeah, we don't need anybody on the floor.
We got it. We got it. So I thought it was just exciting
Yes.
to show you a
Thank you.
picture of what that's going to look like.
And when is it completed?
The goal is the commons is done leading up right to spring break, and then at spring break, they demo the 100 hall. So that way we're only down 1 set of restrooms at a time. So right now we're being strategic in utilizing our auditorium bathrooms here before school and during lunch and after school, and then during the day we're isolated to just 100 hallway during passing periods and class time.
So the 100 hallway will look like that also, as far as the materials and the colors? Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Will both sets have the vape detectors in them, or is it just
Yes.
one?
Already done.
Already, I was gonna say,
Okay.
yep,
Cool.
And there are doors on the stalls, right?
yes, yeah, yep, there sure are.
Sometimes there have not.
I've walked into some high schools recently that,
Did
some, yeah, they don't
There was a
have them.
period of time here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions for Emily?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Legislative.
Update. So I'm gonna take a minute because the legislature started, as I should say, restarted today. And it, as you probably know, they did 2 weeks back in December, completely focused on the issue of redistricting. So those 2 weeks are coming out of the spring legislative session, which would have gone to March 14th. Now this session will only go to February, end of February, I don't know the date, but is only a 2-month session. And just as far as the big picture of that, that means that it's got to get through a committee, 3 readings, a vote, to get to the other house in a month or less. And then it goes to the other house, and it has to do the same thing there, and then maybe go to conference committee before the end of February. Every single bill that passes. It is an incredibly short timeline. There are fewer bills to consider, and they're not budgetary bills. We only do the budgetary bills in odd years and not in even years. However, there are just a lot of bills to deal with, and we'll have, a lot of the same discussion about those types of things. But it is, it's an interesting time, and as I said, today was the first time they have reconvened. Not all the bills are filed yet, so we don't even know what all of them are. One chamber, the last day to file bills was today, and the other chamber, I think it's on Wednesday. So some bills could still be coming down the line, which means we don't know what all the education bills are. Back in December, they did do a committee hearing on stricter cell phone policies, and that was that right now the policy is you can have them not in a classroom, but you can have them in your locker or in between, right?
Not out during instruction.
Not during out instruction, thank you. This one would be what they call bell to bell, where basically students, and they're saying put them in the little things that like lock them up, that we would have to buy, by the way, for every single student. So then when they walk in the morning, they would put it in a pocket, and you'd lock it up, and then they could have it again at the end of the day. It is called Senate Bill 78. If you guys want, you guys probably need to follow it because it's gonna affect your lives if it passes. So that is the order went to committee, and now it's going to go to the House.
So where is that container that gets locked up? Is it something,
It'll be something you do when the kids come in the morning.
but where does that, who's in charge of that container?
That's what schools would have to figure out.
Yeah.
Right,
Schools have to figure
So-
that out.
So, I mean, is it
Some
one
schools
container per
currently do it.
class, or?
Yeah, where students would start out, let's say, in a homeroom environment for the first 15 minutes of the day, that's where it lives, and then the last 15 minutes of the day, they end in that same class. But it requires an opening mechanism of some kind, depending on what you purchase as a district, to be able to open each one individually. It's not like, it's usually a magnetic feature of some kind. It's very tedious.
Yeah, it's a
And
difficult
time-consuming.
process.
Yeah.
So the looking at what Katie Jenner, who's the Secretary of Education, has been talking a lot, that I notice, about regulating social media in general, the effects of social media on kids. So they're definitely trying to address that. As I understand it, though, this cell phone policy, though, comes from schools. That they say this is what they want because it is just such a distraction in class. So again, last year we had the one that had some sort of a halfway, and now this would be sort of the full cell phone ban. So we'll see what happens with that. And again, if you guys have strong feelings about it, we can get you up there to testify. I think it's really important for them to hear both sides, for or against, or here's. And I'd also be interested in the amount of money it costs, right? Because they are again going to give us an unfunded mandate of you need to do it, and I'm sure those things are expensive.
They don't have to do a fiscal study for the bill?
A physical study?
Fiscal study
Oh,
for the bill.
they will. I don't know if it's been done yet. I just meant us, like what would it cost us? And I'm sure there are different companies you can buy those from and what your procedure is. So, but it just, again, is something, you must do it this way. And I understand that, of course, everything is in your phone, but it's also just something else for high school teachers and middle school teachers to deal with. So, again, looking at what the Secretary of Education was talking about academic recovery. A lot of things were coming back from COVID, and trying to get those things back to where they were and get our test scores back up. It is I know we talk a lot about declining enrollment in Brown County, but I always remind people that this is a statewide problem, and it is actually, just heard a story today, it is a world problem. Other countries are also having severe declines in having babies, and so therefore lots of things that our civilization is based upon is a certain number of people, and we're not having those number of people. So it isn't just a Brown County problem. We are all doing that. I know Monroe County certainly has a sharp decline as well.
And then again, a concern about the growing unease was the word she used about kids' use of technology, and what to do about student disengagement. How do we keep kids so that they, want to come to school and feel that it's important? Some of the successes that they are talking about, of course, is last year we had increases in early literacy. They said a 5% jump in test scores in reading, and there's more to do. But they have been struggling to move the middle school literacy test scores, and those have just really kind of been stuck since COVID, I think. So that is, again, not a Brown County problem. It just seems to be a middle school problem. So, and then the last piece is that a renewed push for STEM and math, that a lot of kids don't get the math proficiency that they need. And I think I would look for in the future something like the science of reading, doing the same with math. And they're listing something that I've certainly always noticed is that that a lot of teachers are not comfortable with the math, and so in order for them to teach it, so they really probably need more foundation to feel the skill that they need, and so they were talking about that, and additional state support to do that. So we'll see if that happens. One other thing that we're looking at, you may have heard of, is called the Indianapolis Local Education Alliance, the ILEA. And that is something we're watching, although it does not affect us yet, it could affect us in the future, and everybody's watching this as a test case. In Indianapolis, Indianapolis and Gary are the two places where there are most charter schools and innovation schools and voucher schools, like just many, many choices. And this group has been pulled together in Indianapolis to try to manage the physical facilities and transportation across all of those different kinds of schools. So that you wouldn't have, this school would have their buses and this school would have this, but you would just have one big bus system that would do all of the schools, whether they're public or private. And then the idea of that is then that the school board for each corporation would focus more on classroom outcomes and sort of take away that piece, which, kind of sounds good in that way, but of course, I'm sure the devil's in the details there. But the concern for us is that how that would then translate to, a county like ours where we only have one corporation. I do notice in the Chamber of Commerce state report is, again, talking about consolidation for schools under 2,000 to, try to reduce management costs. So all of those things are out there. But I was really pleased that Katie Jenner, our Secretary of Education, said that we should not just use enrollment as the only metric that we decide for smaller schools. You need to look at, what are we offering? What is the culture? Again, in our case, it's also geography. To get to any other school system would take half an hour to an hour. So those are some of the metrics to look at. But I know you'll hear the letters ILEA a lot in the news, and it's kind of like, what is that? Mm-hmm. Then I always have to look it up again, like, what is it again? But it is something that is very controversial. They have passed the first level of that, so we're going to be watching that to see what happens. And then I just wanted to talk about some of the goals of the organizations that I work a lot with for education policies, and mostly the issues are about the School Boards Association that we belong to, the ISBA. I'm on the legislative committee there, and we met this summer to determine what were our legislative priorities. What are the things we are going to ask legislators to focus on? They're pretty general, but they also give us something to look at. That this is our goal that we'd like to see, and how do bills meet that, and maybe it's a bill we don't like, and how can we get it closer to what our goals are. For the last 8 years, the Indiana General Assembly has passed 308 new K-12 education laws in 8 years. That is an average of 38.5 new laws per session, and the high volume of enacted laws require significant implementation and compliance, as well as administrative reporting duties. With more than 1,500 pages of state laws and regulations to comply with, and regulatory environment takes a focus away from our why of elevating student achievement outcomes. So the Indiana School Board Association wholeheartedly supports continued efforts for regulatory relief beyond what has happened in the past and have a couple of regulatory things they would like to get rid of. And I was just commenting in our book of policies that we're looking at, a lot of them are crossed out. And I'm assuming that's as a result of other regulatory things. They've said, you don't really need to count this here and count this here and count this here. Let's just do it in one place and try to reduce some of that burden on the folks in this room in particular. So they have a couple of suggestions for that. And one of them is actually about the accounting procedures. And when I was at this meeting, they indicated that the Indiana State Board of Accounts has been contracting out with private accountant firms to do the accounting. And some school systems are paying huge amounts of money for that. And it has just gotten out of hand. So they are trying to address some of those types of things that are the things that are kind of, we all don't see as a public, but that's something we certainly want to do. We also would like and are encouraging the legislature, and I think it might be a year this could happen, is that currently if we are not using a school building or it is considered, quote, underutilized, a charter school could come in and buy it for $1. And that is burdensome to everyone, and so I have heard some noise that I think we may get a change in that, so that would be good. And I was going to say if there's anything else. Obviously, property taxes from last year and what was then SB 1 or Senate Bill 1 is now SEA, Senate Enrolled Act 1, and we're still talking about that. And so there are some suggestions for changes to the base AV and those types of things. So a couple of suggestions there. And then also, we are very concerned, and I know I've talked to Debbie about this, about On My Way pre-kindergarten program and our vouchers. We are all very, very concerned about the fact that that money has gone away, that our families are not able to get the child care and the preschool that they need. And I think what is the waiting list? 27,000 families are on it.
That's just the CCDF. So the
Yeah.
On My Way Pre-K, they created 1,200 seats, and so many providers stopped providing to On My Way
Right.
Pre-K because of all the requirements that are there. So we still do take On My Way Pre-K. So we have a couple families that actually just got On My Way Pre-K recently, but that's only one age group. That's 4-year-olds that are going to be turning 5 next year. So
as I understand it
That's
as
not
well, that
the
there were I think there were 4,000 seats, and now there are 1,400 seats. So they also
Yep.
just reduced the actual
Yeah.
number because some of those were paid for, I think, with COVID money,
Yeah.
and that money has gone away. So, but that is just a real hit
Big
to
problem.
families, and so we're definitely going to be trying to get more and more focus on daycare and preschool. And then finally, the Indiana Coalition for Public Education is a fabulous legislative action group, and if you're not following them, I would recommend it. It's ICPE, and their legislative priorities are certainly matched with my own. Mostly that Indiana must invest in traditional public schools, and that funding must keep up with inflation, because that has not been happening. And I will say that I've noticed that that some of the senators and House members have been saying that there was an increase by 5% to K-12 schools, and that's in their publicity. Well, we're not getting 5%. 3% is going to other types of schools, charters and vouchers. Public schools then are assigned 2%, but as we know, out of that 2%, 0.7% has to go to our curriculum because we now have to pay for that. So in essence, it's not 5% going to public schools, it's somewhere around 1 to 1.5%. So always look at the numbers, look at what they're saying to you, because that makes it look great in a year that was really tough and other things got cut. So there was an increase, but it is much smaller to public schools than it was. Number 2, public funds. We'd like to no more expansion of vouchers. I think in my field and the way folks that we believe in School Board Association and other places, we'd like to see vouchers go away, but that's not going to happen. But try to stop the expansion of that because taxpayers just can't afford that anymore. We also want to see accountability from those schools. I don't know if people know that charter and voucher schools receive millions of dollars of taxpayer money. They don't have a board that's publicly accountable. They don't have to show their books. They don't have to do anything. So millions of dollars are going to these organizations with they're private corporations with board of directors that, may not be able to know. So it's just important that I really believe, this is my personal opinion and ICPE's legislative priority, that schools receiving tax dollars should be locally controlled, represented by publicly elected school members to ensure schools are accountable to the communities that they serve. Another one is that any tax dollars spent by K-12 schools should be publicly accounted for and overseen by elected officials, which I think is similar, and that K-12 schools that receive public funds should teach historically and scientifically accurate curricula that is open to the public in order to prepare students for careers and be good students in democracy. And finally, all children from pre-K to their senior year deserve fully resourced, inclusive public schools led by educated and experienced teachers who have a voice at the table in educational decision making. I thought those 6 points were just a really great summary of where I think a lot of people are in the education field about what are our priorities and where would we like to go. So I just want to share that. I don't have any news yet on what's happening on the bills other than the cell phone bill, but 2 weeks from now, we'll definitely have some news. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any questions for
Thank
Amy?
you for getting it.
Nothing else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Let's stay all night.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.